Peace and love, y'all. What's up? This is going to be your urgent message. There's a crow call. Yes, this still is an energy check in, but I'm just letting you guys know that it did arrive with the crow call. So we go ahead and cleanse the space. All right. And we'll see what is coming up next for you guys and why you need to be aware. Okay. Let's deep dive into your energy and the energy that you're dealing with. This is a weekly energy check-in. Okay, it's an energy reading, but I was guided to come on here through a phone call versus a scheduled event. All right. So we're here because of your spiritual health maintenance. This is your spiritual health reality check. Okay. There's some requirements here. Some of you guys will call them spiritual requirements, spiritual taboos, spiritual regulations, spiritual rules, spiritual health maintenance, okay? Whatever you may call it, all right? Without expecting anything in return, you must provide some sort of service. All right, this is required of you. So this is like engaging in like acts of kindness, community service, doing things out of the kindness of your heart, not because you want something, not because you're going to benefit from it, not because somebody asked you to or somebody wants you to, but because you want to. Okay. Strengthen your sense of community, communal environments, the communal spaces, and things of that nature. Okay. So, yes, universal connection, connecting with communities that have like minded individuals. This is like finding hobbies and finding things to do, things of interest that will feed your soul, feed your spirits. Okay. Be careful with the shadow aspect of being the sabotager, the saboteur. Okay, the saboteur energy is here in regards to causing interferences, disruptions, and things of that nature. So again, going back on your spiritual health maintenance, paying attention to like you saying you're gonna do something and you don't do it. Okay, we have angelic energy around you guys, shielding you from any interferences. So that's where your protection is going from any interferences of you engaging in acts of kindness, whatever this energy is. Okay, there will be some sort of insight that will be provided to you as you regularly perform this spiritual health maintenance, this spiritual rituals, spiritual energy check-ins, just being able to do something on a routine basis that is, sacred, basically sacred to you, that is important to you, that is important to your spirit, that's important to your spirituality, whatever that may be, right? And so they're talking about this angelic energy is causing some sort of healing, transcendence, okay? Expect waves of awe and peace, all right? And that lets you know that there's that angelic energy around, okay? And so recognize when you're seeing the disruptions, recognize certain keywords like jealousy or envy or evil eye and things of that nature. Pay attention to that because that's that saboteur energy, okay? And the where the interferences come in, where you're heavily protected, is a lot of secrecy, whatever's happening secretly, whatever's like something that is appearing, it's causing some sort of spiritual effects. Okay. So the disruption here would be recognized when someone desires what you're doing, someone desires to be recognized for what you're doing, someone desires something you may have, something that you may be creating, something that is unfolding for you, uh, something of that nature, okay? Yeah, we have the divination reader on top of that as well, clarifying. So there's something here in regards to something you secretly desire, um, and then jealousy often appears after that. It's like, ooh, I really wanna, and then what, right? Ooh, I'm really excited about, and then it doesn't pull through. There's like something, there's some sort of insight there, okay? And for those of you that journal and you like you write down your transmissions, what I will call your energetic transmissions, your spiritual downloads, your spiritual transcript, basically the dialogue between you and spirit, or the dialogue between like readings and stuff like that. You take notes because you're working on yourselves. It's not just like, oh, I'm just getting a reading for fun. I'm actually trying to evolve with this, right? So I think there's something here in regards to like choosing wisely, and sticking with the right type of divination reader that is going to give you that energetic insight that you actually need versus the thing that you want but you don't need. Okay. And then we have the master projector. All right. So we have the saboteur and the master projector. These could be some shadow aspects that you could be facing, or this could be like people that you're interacting with, or that could be, again, this is energy, could be sending you energy, projecting energy to you, or it could be energy that you're interacting with. Okay. So when it comes to the master projector, and I also have the watcher here, that did come up before. Okay. So there's somebody that could be watching you, watching your energy. This could be you watching someone's energy, right? And how something's playing out. There is a energy here that is presenting themselves as a master projector, right? So this could be a particular person in your life that could be like they have issues with accountability. They have issues with sticking to things that they say they're going to do. Okay, they may blame you for something they may have done themselves. Somehow they will flip the script on you, right? There's something here in regards to like someone doesn't take accountability for their own faults. They would rather blame someone else, or they would rather play the blame game. And then of course there's a sabotager, right? The saboteur, the one that will find things to disrupt the energy, right? So something that will kind of mess up everything. How would I say this? Like this is like, all right, you have a test and you have to study really well to pass this test, because if not, you're not going to be able to get some sort of certificate or something like that. And all the other tests, like you've done well, but this is the most biggest test that you have to do, and you don't get enough rest, or you don't study, or you don't do something that ends up sabotaging everything, right? So it's like something here, like, and that right there, that is the disruption that you have to pay attention to, and that is the interference that they're trying to let you know about. Like you're being heavily protected from this interference. It's almost like, so this energy, this saboteur energy doesn't impact you, right? So the angelic energy is like cloaking you from the saboteur, the master projector, the watcher, like the person that's really curious, but like they don't say anything. It's kind of weird, but you kind of feel it in your energy. You kind of feel them lingering. You feel them thinking about you. You feel them talking about you. You feel them like pulling on your energy, because sometimes it could be people like actually, getting readings on you and stuff like that. Not all the time it could be like that, but nowadays in society, you just never know, right? Okay. Frequency shift. Yeah, it's a test. The test came out. The test is here. Okay. So pay attention to decisions. Like it's like one decision that you can make that can mess up everything. And now I'm seeing like a recipe. Like it'd be that one thing that can throw up the whole recipe, right? It's like be adding too much salt or not enough salt or um too much egg or not. Like just there's something here about like it'd be that one decision that will mess up everything. They're talking about this. This is interesting. All right. And now they're talking about how like don't be misled by other people. Don't follow what other people tell you to do or what other people advise you to do. Like, yeah, you can listen to other people's 2 cents and yeah, you might get, advice from someone. But I'm also seeing like limit the people that give you particular advice, whether it be spiritual, whether it be love related, financial related, something of that nature, and go deeper within yourself and deeper within your connection with your ancestors. Because, especially with this angelic energy, it's like you're being guided to like really, really trust yourself, like walking blind, because this is a test. And you have to embrace the stillness. So there's something like, all right, well, like sometimes we're not supposed to know everything, right? Right. And then there's a reality check out of it. Like I know that I lost a lot of my Twitter followers' interest because I wasn't posting on their clock. The same thing with like there's a lot of places where it's constantly like this is like a 9 to 5 gig. This is not a 9 to 5 gig. If I'm out here to give a message, I'm out here to give a message to a selected few souls in this earth, period. And whether or not those selected few souls need to revisit certain texts, certain teachings, certain videos, because all of these videos are teachings. All of them are spiritual teachings. Each and every single video that I do, every type of reading that I do, every spiritual consultation that I do, I am teaching someone something, whether it's for them to do it for themselves or for them to be able to identify things or for them to be able to know their options, what they're facing, who is the antagonist in their lives, so they can actually get that reality check and then hand them the control again, because you guys are in control of your lives. So don't, if somebody's sitting there like saying, "Oh, your life is gonna be fucked," and you're gonna have bad luck and all this, whatever, and then you sit there and you start to believe it, right? But you don't actively do something to contrast that. You don't do protection work. You don't cleanse. You don't, you're not tight with your ancestors. You're not tight with the Most High. You don't have no connection with the angelics. Like, your faith is shaky. Your self confidence is shaky. If you ever have self confidence issues, your manifestations are not gonna come true. If you have issues with loving people or accepting love, your manifestations are not gonna come true. If you don't believe in God, you don't believe in yourself. If you don't believe in divinity, you won't believe in the divinity within you. If you're stuck in an unhealed energy or in an unhealed mindset, trapped in a karmic loop of experiencing the same type of toxic energy, same type of toxic repeat relationships and things of that nature, then what happens is that you're going to expect that. And when you start to expect that, you start to manifest it even more. And that's why we need to heal. And when we start to heal, the world starts to test us. It starts to say, oh, well, this universe starts looking at you like, okay, you said you were done with this type of people. Let me send you 3 more and let's see if you're gonna still fall for the same shit. Okay. It could be the same handful of people. And for some people, you finally cut that one person off, but then they'll show you 2 other people that have the same characteristics of that other person in different types of relationships. So let's say it was an issue with the coworker. So then now the next relationship, you cut that off, and the next relationship is going to be love, but it has the same characteristics of that weird ass coworker. Same thing. Maybe it's not love. Maybe it's not money, but it could be family. It could be people that you just met that is supposed to help you out with something, and it's going to be a short-term connection. Maybe like, I'm only going to work with you for a week, for 2 weeks, for a month, for 3 months. Maybe I'm only going to see you in my life for like 1 to 3 years, and then we're not going to be together anymore. We're not going to need each other. We're not going to work in the same company. We're not going to live in the same neighborhood. Uh, we're not going to go to the same school, or our kids are not going to experience life together. Whatever it is, you know what I'm saying? Like, and they're saying like, okay, this is a challenge. These disruptions are recurring, so that way you can be able to pick it up. Like, oh yeah, I went through this before. I know how to do that, right? Like riding a bike, but energetically. You're supposed to sense the heavy energy. Realize, okay, hold on, the disruption here. What is it? Okay, is somebody watching me? Okay, is the evil eye, or is it like people being nosy? Because there's a difference. Because wagging tongues is wagging tongues. Motherfuckers just talking. Evil eye is like, I don't like you. I hate you. I hate what you're doing. You're progressing more than me. I want what you have. I want that relationship. I want that career. I want that money. I want that car. I want that life. It's basically the desire of everything that you stand for and that you were born with. You get what I'm saying? So if you really sit there and think about it, there's no need to keep a relationship if you already identify that somebody is sending you evil eye, because in essence they're saying that they're sending your whole life evil, your whole life, everything that it could possibly be connected to you. They'll send the evil eye. So keeping people like that at bay and away, right? That's the energy that you banish, and that's unwanted. When you see, when we start really tapping into alignment, when we really start, being about our business spiritually, yeah, because some people, they can handle their business physically, but spiritually their energy is rotten. And so everything that they have is flashy and fake energetically. So that's why a lot of people, like, you can't trust what you see, right? You can't trust what you see half the times. You gotta feel the energy. You gotta read the energy. Okay. So there's a test here. The observation is heavy energy. You should be curious. Why do I feel so heavy? Why do I feel so emotional? Why do I feel this way? Why did I start feeling this way in this location? Where did it start? Who was there? You should be asking questions. This should be a spiritual investigation for growth purposes. Setting boundaries and limitations. This is a part of your spiritual health maintenance. This is your spiritual health reality check. You have not been setting the correct boundaries and limitations with people. In fact, you may have had expectations instead of limitations. Limitations is, you're only going to get this far with me. The day that you decide to call me out my name, the day that you decide to say something, lie on my name, the day that you decide to take something from me, the day that you decide to cross me, the day that you decide to do something negative to me, to my spirit, to my mind, to my temple, to my finances, to my family, boundary. That's the boundary. But you can't keep letting people back in and giving forgiveness. Like, you can forgive, but forgiveness don't always come with a second chance and a third chance and a fourth chance and a fifth chance and a 19th chance. And no, I forgive you, but I'm not going to give you another chance. That's it. Game over. All right. That's when we talk about those game over energies, right? The frequency energy shift. You may have some weak boundaries. So reestablish, kind of look at, what was going on with those trauma leeches and the weak spots, the tolerances that you had, and kind of tweak that, right? Kind of like think about when you're drinking, the tolerance, like, all right, after the first drink, depending on the type of drink, right? So the same thing. depending on the type of energy that you're dealing with in your life, right? The type of people, right? Can I hang out with you for an hour? Yeah, sure, that'd be great. But can I hang out with you for an entire month, every single day, back to back? Fuck no, right? So you need to know where to establish that boundary, where to establish that line. Same thing professionally, right? Um, are you gonna have your coworkers calling you all hours of the night? No, right? Right. You're not gonna have random people just decide to step out of line to ask you out of pocket questions, right? You know, like there's certain things that there's limitations. You're you're not ask a stranger for money. You don't know them like that, and you're just gonna ask them for money. Now I'm not talking about like the people that like are obviously homeless and like they don't have anybody else to ask, so they're gonna have to ask. You know what I'm saying? But usually, um, I direct people like that to organizations and places that are actually gonna help them more than just for the instant moment. You know. So for you guys, your challenge here is identifying your weaknesses. All right. There's a frequency shift. There has been a frequency shift occurring for a while now. And when we talk about frequency shift, think about, something going at a steady pace and then the frequency either jumps up or it jumps down, right? And so the frequency shift, like everything was going steady, and then something peaks or something drops. So we talk about weaknesses. So there could be some drops in energy, and the drops in energy lets me know that hey, there's some weak spots in regards to your boundaries. And these, like when I start talking about the heavy energy, and I identify as a trauma leech. What does a trauma leech look like? These type of people, they feed off of your energy and your pain. So this will be people that will bring things up from your past. This will be people that will and I'm not talking about like, oh, y'all just reminiscing, y'all just kicking it, y'all talking about stuff, right? And it just happened to bring just to come up. This would be like someone to bring something up specifically to argue about something or complain about something that could have occurred literally longer than a month ago. Like this is something that is like very or something on repeat, right? And so it's very draining. Okay, so as you heal from those particular things, this is where I start talking about deactivating the triggers. You deactivate the triggers so the trauma leech does not impact you, right? The trauma leech does not impact you negatively. And that's exactly what you guys have to do moving forward.